Welcome to Widowcast Podcast, where you learn how to find the strength to get through your journey and the skills to coach other widows. This is not your average grief group. This is your journey group. It just may show you the way to make something amazing come out of the emotional pain and trauma of widowhood. I'm your host, Joanne Filomena. I'm the best-selling author of Widowed and Widow Coach, and I'm a professional certified life coach. Let the healing and your personal journey begin. Hello, my friends. Before we get started today, I just want to say thank you to those of you who have taken the time and effort to go find my podcast in iTunes and leave a review for me. I was noticing just the other day that there were new reviews that I hadn't seen. I don't talk about this often on my podcast, but I am so touched with every review. I love them. I have a recent review saying, "Finally, an amazing podcast for widows." And this is from Katie Pie. Says, "Joanne, you are a true gem. This podcast has validated so many of my feelings during this widowhood journey. Many blessings to you." I have a review from Go Mom Money-Mom, I can't say it. Says she is so real and lovely with her words and encouragement. Blessed to have found her. Thank you for pushing through with B- work. Oh, you really have been listening to the podcast and paying attention. Then Lydia posted and said, "Joanne offers widows tools, life skills to walk through their new path in life. She helps us see we're not alone in this journey and we have the ability to grow strong from our pain, not be stagnant, but move forward, set and pursue goals and live. Every widow, regardless of how long she has lost her husband, will benefit and be blessed by these podcasts. Because the skills taught are not exclusively for widows, I've even shared some of the lessons with my women's Bible study group, and they have been blessed as well. Thank you, Joanne, for opening the door for healing and growth to begin." You guys, this is just 3 of the reviews in there, and it just warms me so much, especially that last review, because I'm talking a little bit today again about not being stagnant, but moving forward. And I hope it is a really powerful lesson. And by the way, do jump over to widowcoachingcenter.com and check that out. See if you want to become a member of the membership site. There is a fee to join. It's not a lot of money. The monthly cost after that first month is really low. And I am putting my whole heart and soul into this to get all my members the results that they want in their lives. So come join us and become an empowered widow. So that said, on with today's podcast. Welcome back, my friends. So glad to be back here with you. I was looking for something on my computer, and I came across something I wrote a couple of years ago and decided I wanted to share it with you here now. I was looking back through my podcast episodes. Did I podcast this? Did I put this in one of my books? I don't know that I did anything with this, so I'm going to share it with you today because this is entitled "When Your Identity is Shattered," because I feel that so many widows feel that way. Like as soon as their husband dies, it's as if we were stripped away of everything. Right? Our ego is gone. Our confidence is gone. Our ability to make decisions seems to be gone. And our sense of identity is gone. Who am I now? Anyone who is actively seeking personal growth, I'm not talking about widows now, I'm just talking about anybody on the planet. Very spiritual people will actively seek personal growth and enlightenment and a completely new future for themselves. And they go through the process of having their identity shattered. The seeker who meditates for enlightenment is told to let go of ego completely in order to achieve the personal insight and enlightenment. Listen, you, dear widow, have gone through involuntary identity shattering. You know, the monks in their orange robes that meditate on mountaintops for enlightenment, to strip their own ego away. They meditate for years sometimes. For us, it's instantaneous. It happens all at once. No wonder this is so disorienting and so painful and feels like such a huge loss, because you don't only just, I don't want to say just, you don't only lose your spouse, you lose yourself in the process, right? Your ego is a small, quiet little voice compared to your previous sense of self. If you did have the luxury of a slow tearing down to slowly rebuild a new sense of identity, that would be amazing. That would be like spiritual seekers who go and slowly strip away the layers of their ego, like peeling an onion to hit enlightenment. We didn't have that luxury. We've been thrust right into the fire of rebirth. Now it's up to you how you proceed. If you proceed at all, you can sit in the fire and continue to wonder who you are now, right? What now, we often think. Or you make a choice to begin discovering who you truly are, and even begin to reach for who you truly can become. I've met many widows, all who, like me, were thrust into the fire of complete destruction of identity. You are no longer a twosome in life, no longer a partner and a lover. You had previously built a life and identity together in an equation of two. You became an integral and welcome part of each other. But suddenly, that earthly bond was broken. That life was built on an equation of two, and it stopped, gone. And you're left wondering where to turn. You're left asking, what's next? Many of those widows that I talked to did the most amazing thing. They eventually looked up from the old easy chair they had been sitting in, mourning day after day, and envisioned a new life. It was in the power of that new vision, or even in a singular idea of what could be, that they began to walk forward, to reach forward. They began to live their life as if. Living as if is behaving as if you would if your vision had already come to be. In any moment, you can envision the woman you want to become, and then immediately begin to live your life as if you were already her. It is powerful. It is transformative. Let me explain. When I first became certified as a coach, as a professional life coach, I had so much self-doubt around that, I can't even begin to describe to you. I was terrified. I had little confidence that I could actually build a business with this. I knew I wanted to. And what I had to do was, I eventually realized, who is she? Who is the woman that becomes a successful life coach? And I sat down and I wrote down everything I could about her. I wrote down everything I could about the successful life coach that was making a difference in the lives of others, what that business would look like. I wrote down how she would dress. I wrote down what she would do when she first got up in the morning. I even wrote down what she would eat for breakfast. I described her actions as best that I could, envisioning in my mind this successful coach and where she was once she had built a successful business. Then I looked at that and I stepped into her shoes immediately. It's like I have to start being her or I can't have the successful coaching practice. So I began dressing the way I felt that this successful coach would dress. I started taking care of myself in the way that I envisioned she would take care of herself. I began feeling so much more confident about what I was doing because I was coming from a place in the future where I knew I had already accomplished it. I would handle challenges the way that I knew she would handle challenges. It was the most amazing step I had ever taken in my life, and I continue to repeat that step over and over in all things. I know that sounds a little out there, but let me tell you what a difference it could make. I even, in wanting to sell my house and move to a new location, which, trust me, there was so much mind drama about this process, but I began to think about who is the Joanne in the future who has sold her house and made that move and is thrilled with where she is now. And how can I begin being her right now as I go through the process? Because that is what will support me through the process, is trying to reach out to that future me that's already completed it. Because she knows what she did. She knows what worked. So, dear widow, dear widows that I speak to, you will continue to carry grief in your heart, and you will always remember your spouse and what you had together. But you can also, at the same time, begin to decide who is the woman you want to become. Sit down and begin writing about her. Write about what she does. Write about how she dresses. Write about what she eats. Everything about her you can imagine. Maybe she only shops in the best stores. She would never dream of buying a lipstick in a drugstore. She is put together from head to toe and completely comfortable with that, comfortable with who she is. Right? She always walks with her head elevated with confidence. How does she spend her evening? What does she do for a living? Get to know everything you can about her. Maybe she is a ranch owner. Maybe she has horses and she breeds them. Maybe she spends her days in comfortable boots and jeans and out in the open air. Get to know everything you can about the woman that you want to become. And then be proud to step right into those shoes right now. Because she is future you. And present you gets to start being her right now. Consider, as hard as it can be, especially if you're a newer widow and you're still feeling in that fog. I know it's hard to consider things in this light, but I would like you to just trust and try to consider that you've been being given the gift of being stripped down, bare to your soul. So now begin creating the amazing, self-aware, and fully empowered woman you were always meant to be. That's what I want for you guys. When I talk about empowered widows, that's what I'm talking about. We have been burned to the ground, our ego burned to the ground in an instant. And out of that, we are standing back up out of those ashes. You make the choice. You make the choice if you are going to still sit in the pile of ashes, which could be represented by that comfortable chair in your living room that you just sit in day after day. Maybe you watch daytime TV, waiting for the mailman to come. Not much more to your life than that. Or you go to your regular job. You just go through the motions. You're just trying to get through each day. Don't stay there in those ashes. Rise yourself up. Know that you can be empowered to start building who it is that you want to be. It's up to you. Make that choice and then begin discovering who you truly are. And I will talk to you again next week.